Middlekauff! Hey! Hello and welcome to another edition. It's Haberman Middlekauff. On YouTube or on the podcast, thanks for being here, however you're taking it in.
And happy Mother's Day to all the women in your life, because we know we basically 99.9% men that listen to this. So thank your moms, thank your baby mamas, thank your wives, thank your future ladies, and happy Mother's Day.
Might be higher than 99.9.
Yeah, I think it's 100.
It might be 100. But you know what? I don't think it is, because on the YouTubes, when we do them, I think some of the stats are a little off.
Speaking of the podcast, I was thinking of this podcast. I think the podcast is 100. YouTube's probably 99.47 or something.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think some of the YouTube analytics are a hair off, because I think they say a lot of the stuff I see is 100% male, even though we know that to not be true. So I don't know.
It's what Elon's going for. I don't think sometimes we can validate just a name on a chat. You never quite know.
That's true.
You and I could start a Twitter account that could be Julie Smith. No one would know.
That's right.
Until Elon authenticates
ham
me.
For women show.
What?
Just ham for women.
What do you think we'd talk about?
Branch out. Sports, same thing. Same exact stuff.
What if we could mix in you're just going to spend a couple hours a week to watch The Bachelorette and a couple other things that will just draw.
Why's that got to be for women, John?
Well, because you've seen what do you think the demo is on Bachelorette?
What do you think the show that was most geared towards women that you liked the most was?
What was the show with Tony Parker's wife in college?
Ding, 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 ding. Eva Longoria. Every Sunday night. What was that show?
Desperate Housewives?
That was going to be mine as well. Yep. Yeah. That was a hell of a show, man.
See, but now
maybe
hearing us talk,
dudes watching it.
Yeah, I think there were.
But it was basically a soap opera.
It was pretty good.
Remember the husband of one chick was the dad from the OC. You remember the show The OC? Some of you younger may not remember that show, but
that'd be another one that was pretty transcendent, right? A lot of guys and girls.
Yep.
I would say The Bachelorette skews very high female.
Right. What about The Bachelor?
Still skews very high female. Don't you think?
Which one would you rather watch?
I mean, if you forced me, I don't think I'd even care. Would I rather watch douchey dudes fight over one chick or a bunch of girls? I might go with the douchey dudes and just the one girl.
All right, John, before we get into it, and it's a big week, big revelations this week. Let's tell the people. I've got double Buck Mason on right now. I got a Buck Mason tee and a Buck Mason zip. You got a Buck Mason. I got a crew neck over it. You've got the Buck Mason V-neck. We love Buck Mason. You'll love it too. buckmason.com/ham right now. When you go to buckmason.com/ham, you get a free Buck Mason shirt. And these are high quality shirts with any order. Anything you order, a t-shirt comes with it. You get to pick the t-shirt too.
Yeah. I mean, you tipped me off about this before we even went into business with these guys. Their fabric is fantastic. Their clothes are awesome. We obviously, I think you and me combined probably own 12, 15 t-shirts.
I'd say we're at about $1,200 a Buck Mason. Actually, we're probably almost $2,000 a Buck Mason.
Yes, several hoodies. I bought those shorts, kind of, the
sweat shorts.
The sweat shorts, which those are what I sleep in and kind of wear around the house, either in the morning or at night, and they are fantastic. Those were fantastic buys. They're really, really comfortable. I don't like being too hot. I'm not a huge sweatpants guy. I like if I'm going to wear long pants that aren't like pants, they're like leisure wear. They got to be really light. So I love a good sweatpants shorts. They're just so comfortable, but they let my legs breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, buckmason.com, promo code ham, free t-shirt, buckmason.com/ham, get the free t-shirt, buckmason.com/ham. Go check it out. Tons of options. The t-shirts guys, skinny guy summer. We're coming right up, right?
Yep. We love the hoodies too. But two pro tips for you. One, if you like a tight tee, then get your normal size. If you want a little more casual, or not casual, but looser fit, just size up. Trust us, it'll be the right size if you just size up. I'm a big fan of the Pima tee. I think it works in multiple. You can wear it. It's very comfortable to just wear around, but it looks good if you go out with it. But here's my second pro tip, John. Right this second as we speak, I am wearing the Trail Traverse curved hem tee. Okay, that's what's called the Trail Traverse curved hem tee. And they show a guy running in the shirt, but you could easily wear it. It doesn't look like dry fit is what's great about it. It doesn't feel like dry fit, which is what's great about it. But it's a little different than the other tees. It's a little more expensive. It's $45. So what I did was I made that my free tee. And then I got another t-shirt like the Pima or the Slub, which are also great, but a little like $7 cheaper. That, just saying, you could wear it casually. You can work out in it. It's just a big fan. Just a little pro tip.
I like it. BuckMason.com/ham. Go get it right now. Free t-shirt.
Tip from the pros. Dog leg right. Try and play it 305 to the middle. And then it's an easy pitching wedge in. All right.
I actually threw a little money on Joel Damon. We're recording this before the end of the golf tournament. And he was in the lead. And then all of a sudden I look and he's dropped 7 shots in like 4 holes. He went triple bogey to finish on Friday. It wasn't awesome.
Is he going to depart with Sergio?
No, I don't think so. But be nice if he did.
John, big story in the NFL this week is schedule release. The schedule comes out on Thursday for the NFL, 5 o'clock Pacific. The teams release all of theirs. There's a big show. We'll obviously you can have our show. And there's going to be some lead up to it as well. From what I understand, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, each of the 3 networks, ESPN, ABC, ESPN, I guess there's 4 networks, NBC, Fox, CBS. So I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but each one is going to reveal one big game on each day. So maybe it includes Thursday. One of them reveals a game Thursday morning or something.
I like on the day of the schedule release. If the schedule release is at 5 Eastern or 6 Eastern, whatever it is, all the teams love giving their beat reporters, like throwing them a bone. And every beat reporter throughout the league will be like, sources, Eagles football team, December 27th. It'll just be random games like Jags, Titans, October 17th. But it's usually just some random games.
Yes.
It's like Vikings, Seattle, September 10th. You're like, whoa, opener.
Yep. Hope we're not coming back from the East Coast for that game.
And then there's always the one guy like, I've taken every single beat writer's reports. Here's so far the schedule, the entire league of what I have so far.
So what we thought we would do, and we talked about it the other day, just casually in passing, and then we thought, we should really talk, but kind of break this down, is look at the Niners schedule and figure out what would be ideal for Trey Lance. Trying to think about what would be the best thing for a quote-unquote rookie, but for a second year, a first-time starting quarterback, and Trey Lance is one. So if you're watching, what we have here is all their non-divisional games. We obviously know their divisional games.
We actually know one of the games, right?
Right.
It's the one in Mexico.
That's the Cardinals game, and it's going to be on November 21st. Okay. So that game we know. They're going to go to Estadio Azteca. So, here's an example as we look through, and here are I'm just going to rattle through for those of you listening, their non-divisional games. Commanders, Falcons, Panthers, Broncos, Raiders, Saints, Bucks, Chiefs, Chargers, Bears, Dolphins. 6 of them are at home, 5 of them on the road. The home games are Commanders, Saints, Bucks, Chiefs, Chargers, Dolphins. So road games, Falcons, Panthers, Broncos, Raiders, Bears.
That Bucks Santa Clara game going to be a pretty big one, don't you think?
I do, which I've got a few notes. I think if we're thinking about Trey Lance as we think through this, I think it'd be better if that game were not early. Because I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on that game. And maybe if it's after he's made 8 starts, he won't feel it quite as much and he'll be a little more comfortable. So that's one of my early takes. I think it'd be better for him if the Bucks game is not early in the season.
Agreed. I would say of the games that we see right there, I would say the Bears on the road opening up would be a relatively easy game. Their defense stinks. They got rid of good players, coaching turnover. Their offense doesn't have much. And it's not too far of a travel. Before, over the years, right, they've opened up in Detroit. They've opened up in Tampa. I don't love a 10 a.m. East Coast kickoff first real start.
So you would not want
team. I'd rather play at home.
You would not want Atlanta week 1, even though Atlanta could be worse than Chicago.
Yeah, don't hate that one. That would be the one I would choose, probably. But even then, I would like to week 2.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue.
I think if you could choose, you'd want to open at home.
Atlanta, younger corners. I mean, Niners, in theory, potentially younger corners. Atlanta, potentially good talent at receiver, but I don't think their roster is very good. Okay, so you would want to be at home.
To me, this is pretty simple for me. I would take one of 2 teams at home, and it would be Seattle or it'd be Arizona. It can't be LA because we know LA is opening the season for the league on Thursday night. So to me, I would choose a Sunday 1:00 or 1:05 kickoff against the Seattle Seahawks or the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, he's played against the Arizona Cardinals and he's played a half against Pete Carroll and a lot of those guys that are still on the defense. But part of it is not just he's played against those teams. The 3 teams that he's seen the most of, just sitting down with Jimmy Garoppolo and last year was Scangarello and Kyle, is just those 3 teams in his division, right? They just play 6 games against the division. You watch a lot of cross tape. So you would say he by far would be the most just feel comfortable watching those teams on film. And he literally had to start against, a lot of those guys that he played against the Cardinals, Isaiah Simmons, Budda Baker, I guess Chandler's gone, but Watt, those guys are going to be back, right? Byron Murphy's their corner. He's just the names, you just throw out in the scouting report. He's said those names, and then he literally played against them. To me, that would be the number 1 pick, even though you would argue that Kyler Murray is the scariest. Kyler Murray's the MVP of the NFL the last 2 years in September. Doesn't it? It's Kyler, he's on the MVP path. And we've seen it against the Niners. He beat him. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I think he beat him both times.
Well, he beat them. The Niners lost to the Cardinals twice last year.
Yeah, I was talking week 1. I guess it was 2 years ago. Remember, they opened up against the Cardinals at home and lost the year that they went 6-10. But that was before they got a bunch of injuries.
So I would rather play Seattle week 1 than Arizona because I think Arizona is going to be better than Seattle next year. And you play Arizona. Although you could apply this to both teams because you don't want to lose that home game.
Arizona's better for sure. I'd agree there.
Well, and so part of it is not only they could beat you, but because Arizona's better, the games you play against them might turn out to matter more later. And I don't want Trey playing because obviously the second time around is going to be not at home. It's going to be in Mexico. I don't want the second time around to be, a must-win situation if I can avoid it. Now, going to Seattle's tough too, but he's been there, right? And again, that team's not as good. So
to me, wouldn't you want the Seattle game in November, December when they're shitty and the 12s are just over it?
The second game, the road game,
You would just say week 1, Seattle, you might just get a really good effort from the crowd. Usually, if you have a team that's competing to be a top 5 draft pick, you could argue by Halloween, but definitely by late November, December, it's not the same.
I agree. I'm saying I want the home game week 1.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I also think with Arizona, you do want to play them. You have specific times you'd want to play them. You'd want to play them.
But I guess what I'm saying on the Seattle thing, if you could pick a date when you could put that Seattle game, you would put that in December.
The road one. Agreed? Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I also think you want to play Arizona in the first 6 weeks if you could. We already know you're going to play them once late November, which is perfect. They're usually collapsing by then.
Yeah.
Play them once without DeAndre Hopkins early on. What about, would you want to play Denver the week before you play the Cardinals on Monday Night Football? Elevation sensation. Get your bodies right. Mile high.
Do one of those where you just stay out there too.
Do you want to soak it in? Out there? Yep.
What if I pivoted here? Once the season goes, I don't think it matters, right? Once you get to October, you're playing all these good teams regardless. Do you want to get one of the sweet teams out of the way and maybe you catch them, still move like Kansas City, some new parts, Denver, a lot going on, right? Mm-hmm. A lot going on. The Chargers, huge pressure. Get them at home. Where the Charger game? Yeah, get them at home. Everyone's like, oh, there's a Super Bowl team. Then all of a sudden you beat them and everyone's like, oh, out on the Chargers. Then all of a sudden they play a short week because remember they announced at the draft, Chargers Chiefs week. I guess it's not week 1, it'd be week 2, but it's the first game for Bezos and Amazon and Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit playing in 4 days. And all of a sudden, they better beat the Chiefs. They'll be 0-2. So you just kind of you don't catch them. You can't catch anyone sleeping. That's why you could argue it doesn't really matter week 1 because we see weird shit happen. So it's like, yeah, you can play the Falcons, but that might be the best game they play all season, or just they believe. Then all of a sudden you're 1-5 and the season's over. But, to me, the key is a home game. I think that is the key. Just start at home, ease into it. You could argue the opponent. I mean, clearly there are teams on paper that are better. But you see, I remember the Jags 2 years ago beat Phillip Rivers. Now, granted, the Jags have beat the Colts, 8 straight years. But you just see the Patriots last year lost to the Dolphins week 1. Week 1, I don't know.
You could argue you'd rather play a good team week 1.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of convincing. Let's just take the fucking Chiefs or the Chargers. Because there is some pressure on them knowing that they got to play in 4 days.
Well, the other thing is, if you're going to play a really talented team, right? What's the Niners' best asset on offense?
And the Chargers.
What's that?
I was like, you might just want. I don't know if I want Mahomes or Herbert week 1.
I wouldn't want Mahomes. I'd be more inclined to play the Chargers. The Niners' best asset offensively is their head coach's game planning and play calling ability. So if you're going to play a team with a better quarterback, the more time you have to prepare, I think I think the preparation time is advantageous for the less good team, right?
Agreed.
Or at least the best can just step out there and freestyle. If we got a rap battle going on and you only had 10 minutes notice, that benefits the more talented rapper. If you have 5 hours notice, I think that benefits the less talented rapper.
One disadvantage on some of these teams would be they have new coaches or new personnel.
Yeah.
Calling plays, like Raiders, all new. Broncos, all new. Bears, all new. Dolphins, all new. So even the Saints.
Bucks did make a coaching change.
Yeah, same with the Bucks and the Saints. I mean, different head coaches. So would you rather get those guys?
Kind of similar.
Would you rather catch those guys 3 or 4 weeks into the season when you have some tape and just take your chances, like with the Falcons who have everyone coming back, or the Commanders that have everyone coming back, or the Bears, the Chargers or the Chiefs that just have the same coaching staff?
Yeah, I think
the Chargers have much better players. That's Bosa, Mac.
The more we talk about this, the more Seattle at home feels like a great way to start the year. But the Niners, to your point, have in recent years at least started the years with weird games.
I wouldn't be opposed to Arizona either, and just take your chances with Kyler.
It feels like you're like football team, like Washington football team week 1, something like that.
I think they'd be fine with that too. Don't you think? Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a solid, competent defense, but you can't go around hoping your schedule's filled with incompetent teams.
In theory, they should be competent on defense. I think they've kind of underwhelmed. Del Rio's tweeting it back and forth with fans. Saw that yesterday.
And that's a bad thing?
No, but this one fan was just like, "Can we just start tackling people this year?" And I think Del Rio quoted the tweet. He's like, "That's the goal with the new guys." Yeah,
okay. Cool. All right, John, we're going to sprinkle in some mailbag content into the show today. It's been a while since we've done a mailbag. We appreciate everybody that goes to Apple Podcasts and leaves us a review, 5 stars. And in that review, you tell us something. Ask us a question. It can be anything. We love if you tell us your favorite bars, where you like to hang, that kind of thing. But these have been piling up, and so we pulled off a few here, and we're gonna jump through them. All right, here we go. First up, this comes from James. He headlines this, "Tell me I'm wrong." I already like the way this is beginning. James says, Daniel Jeremiah said that there are no great receivers over the age of 31. The only one I can think of is Adam Thielen. What's the age where running backs stop being great? 26? Is there an age when each position falls off, and what's that age? I think linebackers, corners, and safeties are not that important. Why would you not take 5 first-round picks on the D-line before taking any of them? So a lot of questions there, but I appreciate a thoughtful letter.
I am in complete agreement. I thought one of the most head-scratching picks of the draft was Drake London at 8. Not because, Drake London, I liked him when he was at USC, but the Atlanta Falcons, who have been absolutely an unmitigated disaster on the line of scrimmages, why not just take Jordan Davis? Why not just take Cross, the dude from Mississippi State. Why not just take a Hoss on the line of scrimmage? Do you know what you could do in the second round? I don't know. The Chiefs sure like Sky Moore. Do they have a pretty good history of figuring out wide receivers? Couldn't you have taken a good wide receiver in the second round? Like I think the formula is pretty clear. If there's a tie, lean line. And listen, I get why Joe Douglas likes Sauce Gardner, the swag, and he's a talented player. I get why the Texans, Stingley trying to hit a home run and get the next Revis. But if you said, would you rather have the next Revis or rather the next Aaron Donald or, Tyron Smith or Trent Williams? I think we all agree. You just be like, well, give me the sweet lineman and then give me an average corner, right? And it's just so clear you can find. I don't want to say that wide receivers are quite running backs because I do think they're more important when you get a really, really good one in this game. But they're definitely easier to like running backs. They're pretty easy to find really good starters. I think not necessarily like in running backs, you can find like starters 4th, 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, but you can definitely find legit wide receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round. Like, I think most of the best wide receivers in the league are basically 2nd and 3rd round picks right now. But Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson have changed it a little bit the last couple of years, but Devontae, Keenan, Tyreek fell because of some off the field stuff, but obviously AJ Brown, Debo, and DK and that crew, right? Are great examples. Those 3 guys have been easily the last several years 3 of the better players in the league, non-quarterback on offense.
Yeah. What's crazy about receivers is you can get guys that physically, like DK, it's hard to find defensive linemen that have some of those physical tools, like the elite physical traits. Like DK has elite physical traits, right? AJ Brown, you'd say.
What do you say? It's why a lot of people are fired up on the Niners 2nd round pick. Because how does a guy like Dre Jackson even there? It never happens.
It doesn't happen. Is there an age where running backs stop being great? 26? That's actually about the age. Derrick Henry's trying to be an outlier there because I think he's now 27. But
and what happened to him last year? Right, foot broke.
Yeah,
disappeared.
And by the way, on the DJ point, there's no great receiver over the age of 31. Tight ends, you get some guys older than 31, right? Like some of the Zach Ertz is 31, but Travis Kelce's 32, right? Or 31 or 32. Gronk is 32. But in terms of pure receivers, AJ Green, I think is 33. And
Julio feels like he fell off a similar age.
How old is Julio?
Probably, I would say the same, 32, 33, 34, somewhere in that range.
Here, I've got leading receivers by age. So here's your guys. Kupp, 28, Adams, 29, Hill, 27, Jefferson, 22, Mark Andrews, tight end, 26, Deontay Johnson, Steelers, 25, Keenan Allen, 29, Jalen Waddle, 23, Diggs, 28, Renfro, 26, Godwin, 25, DJ Moore, 24, Kelsey, 32, Hollywood, 24, Brandon Cooks, 28, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 22, Michael Pittman, 24, Jacoby Myers, 25, Cole Beasley, 32.
You know who had an underrated career that you and I talked about this guy the other day randomly, but I just don't feel like we quite talk about like, God, this guy was good. And we know he's good, but he just doesn't get Tony Gonzalez. Guy, when he got traded to the Atlanta Falcons at 33 years old, he played 5 seasons for them. Never missed one game. 16, 16, 16, 16. His stats, 83-6, 76, 87, 93-8. At 37 years old, his last year in the league, 83-8. And then he said, I'm out.
Did not have to retire. Did he get hurt? Did he play every game?
Remember, he just he made the Pro Bowl. I think he just bounced.
Wow.
A lot of Pro Bowls.
Good review, James. Thank you. Good. That was a good way to start it off. This one's called Name Change. Here's some name change ideas for you guys if you're going to change the name of your podcast. Roughing the Passer with Middlekauff and Haberman. Probably taken. Well, not the Middlekauff and Haberman part. The Pylons. Personal Foul. I like some of these. Your name is first and some of these my name is first. So maybe the rhythm, I should read it. The Pylons with Middlekauff and Haberman. Personal Foul with Haberman and Middlekauff. Taunting with Haberman and Middlekauff. My favorite. Coin Toss with Middlekauff and Haberman. Second favorite. Thanks.
I wonder why he did switch up the names. The flow, Haberman and Middlekauff flows.
Thanks.
Personal Foul. Don't hate that. Taunting?
Taunting. Yeah. The pylons.
Pylons?
Pylons is actually a funny word that in a weird way I like, because it's like we know what they are in football, but pylons, when you say pylons, it's a funny word. Moving the
Listener of the
pylon.
show, Scott Malinoff, who is a coach for Trent Dilfer, shot me an email like a week ago. Maybe I mentioned this on the show. The name was Play Action. Like,
Play action.
Not terrible, because part of it is like, obviously it's a football term, but just the two words, right? Play action. Like, there's just, to me, the word action is just like kind of some action shit going on.
Yep. He DM'd me this. Play action cast is one of the things he said to me. But we don't want cast, pod, show if you can avoid it.
Play action with Haberman Middlekauff.
Play action.
Play action with Guy and John.
Yeah. How about just John Guy? Like John Boy, but John Guy.
What's the media guy's name? John Boy?
John Boy with an M.
John Boy.
John Boy. We could be John Guy. Made me laugh. All right, next up from Dave Ochocinco. Took me a second.
Ocho versus Science?
Ocho versus Science?
Yeah, it's just Ochocinco eats McDonald's every day. And he said he tweets all the time, like, I'm 2% body fat. Eats McDonald's every day.
Remember, a guy did a whole, like a year documentary on that.
Super that guy was a fat non-athlete. This is Ocho.
Pod idea. Previously, you guys did a podcast about John's time in the NFL and his scouting experience. I've always thought it would be interesting to hear you guys do the same thing, but for Guy, I think you could easily do a full-length pod on being a broadcaster when things slow down after the draft. Many of us have no idea what that's like, aside from what we see on TV. For example, Guy mentioned something called a cough button, which I had no idea was a thing. What's it like being a play-by-play broadcaster? The prep work, maybe some interesting stories about people you've met or experiences you had, etc. Didn't we do that in the pandemic? Early pandemic content?
Things have changed. Our listeners have doubled since. I mean, I just new people, new earballs. Sometimes I think we take for granted. I think we had a question the other day, or maybe this was a DM that also alluded to.
Sorry, I read that whole thing. I didn't put it on the video.
With the Mike Shanahan meeting, what's his name?
Ty Davis
Price. Yeah, and someone's like, what actually happens on those player visits? And you just realize, like, player visits, and people are like, well, what does he actually do? Does he like just talk to one person? Like, well, you just kind of realize, like, you don't sometimes, like, there's a cough button. Like, I don't think most people realize that, like, when you call a football game or a basketball game, someone's talking into your ear while you're talking. But just basic things of, like, that you just take for granted once you do something for a while that other people don't know. Because I remember when Call Her Daddy got really famous, and then they were fighting with Portnoy, and then it turned out they record their own show, and then they edit it all, and people were like, wait, this isn't like just an organic podcast. And they're like, are all podcasts like recorded and then manipulated? It's like, well, ours isn't. I've never been a part of one that isn't just, maybe if you remove something because you had like a coughing spell or like that, you start a segment over because it was really shitty, but not like she had like 3 hours of content every week and then she would mix it all together. It's like, maybe some podcasts do it like that. Like, you just realize people don't even know a lot of times how things actually work. That's why whenever you hear someone like an actor or someone that's in an industry that you're kind of interested in, like how that works, you're like, whoa, that was pretty impressive. Like the Beatles thing. Remember that you watched, I didn't end up watching it, but like that one scene where they're playing, creating the song and they just start jamming and they just, and then eventually the song comes out. You're like, that's how you make a song?
Yeah.
I
watched, what song did I watch? Oh, Sympathy for the Devil. There's only like a 2-minute clip. Rolling Stones. What I think in the conversation for the greatest song of all time. And please allow me to introduce myself. That song. You know that song? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Just but it was only like a minute and a half. I could have watched that thing for as long as I could have watched 7 hours of them just trying to figure that song out. So you're right. What some people take for granted is common knowledge. Other people, maybe we should just do a whole, like, pick a few scouting things again and do some of that stuff and do some, what behind the scenes of a big game or like a broadcast is like, that kind of thing too. This summer, that might be cool. You like pick like instead of doing one show that's just what it's like to be a scout, like we pick like 3 different things. Like what's it like to host, I don't know, whatever, like 3 things, and we do like one on each show.
Even if it's just like, what does a scout do when he shows up at USC? Like, what's his day?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hell, I didn't even. People had to teach me. I was like, what do you do?
Where do I go? Who do I talk to?
When's lunch?
Yeah, I like that. All right, thank you, Dave Ochocinco. You got our wheels turning. This person, Mikey, 5 stars. Merch, Guy and John. You guys need some new merch. I would buy multiple shirts and wear them multiple times a week. I'm personally thinking a crossover with Tito's Handmade Vodka, like Haberman and Middlekauff, presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, a black or white T-shirt. I'd pay $40 for it. Love you guys. Take it easy. I mean, you want to be in charge of merch, Mikey? Like, you just nailed it.
Yeah. Anyone out there, if you're interested, you're in the merch business, and you can do the creation and the distribution. Our emails and our Twitter accounts, we're always open for business to talk.
For people that did we do this in 2021 or 2020?
I thought they were made in 2020.
Well, we made them definitely. We got them like January 2020. When did we sell them? Was it last year? It was last year. I think it was last year. No?
Yeah, maybe even the fall of 20 or early 2021.
Anyway, we've got promo code ham hats that went out. But like you said, a lot of new people to the show since we did this. So we did have one piece of merch that went out in a limited drop. We sold 100 hats, and we sold them out very fast. So that's what those were.
I think we have an idea for the logo of ham. The way it would probably look pretty cool on a hat.
Yeah, I think so. And the more we go through names, we're just spitballing here. Not the more I'm inclined, but I do think there's a benefit to staying with Haberman and Middlekauff and not changing the name, but we're open-minded. Ongoing discussions.
Yeah. No set date. I mean,
there's no. Let me check with the boss here.
We're just we're spitballers.
Alex,
we thrive on ideas.
That's right. I heard Rick Rubin, the big-time music producer.
Yeah, with the beard.
He said that one of his rules in doing when they're making an album or whatever is that
get stoned before.
Get stoned. Any idea we try. So like if somebody has an idea and someone thinks like, oh, that's a bad idea, that's fine, but let's just try it because it might come out differently than because if I say let's do something and you say let's do something, we might each imagine the other person's idea differently than it would actually be.
Totally.
So let's try. And then if we don't like it, we don't like it.
I'll never forget when we hosted that baseball show on our radio show with Euclid and Eric Burns, and I think Greg Papa. Remember that? It was like
the baseball hour, I think.
Yeah, and Euclid, I don't know if there was a caller or he just said it, like how did that Red Sox team turn into a power? And he said every single guy, their first reaction, he's like, I've been on so many teams where the first reaction is like, hey, you're batting 7th today instead of 2nd. And they're like, fuck that. No, I need you to play left field instead of 3rd base today. No. Every guy on that team, the first reaction to anything was always yes. Sometimes you think about that, like if it's easy, the older you get, and I can get like this sometimes, like, no, don't want to do that. It's a bad mindset to have. Most of like, how often does Elon like, yeah, we'll try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Even if 99% of things don't work, if one of them works and it's SpaceX, you're like, I'm a billionaire.
All right, next up, John. This is from Alex in Fresno. Big fan of the pod. I listen to Ham and 3 and Out religiously. Valley native, fellow Bulldog alum. Guy and John, do you have any plans on catching a Dogs game and drinking a little Tito soon? Regardless, back to the Niners. Do you think there's some sort actually, I'm watching Fresno State baseball tonight. Do you think there's some sort of plan? I'm not. Do you think there's some sort of plan? But Mike Bates will go get him. Do you think there's some sort of plan to Kyle Shanahan's consistent stubbornness and not getting over the championship hump to things like not spending much during free agency, Ayuk doghouse? Doghouse means something different to those of us who've been in Fresno.
I do want to go to a Fresno State game. I actually might go. I was thinking I might go to a game next year.
A football
one
game?
Of those things, yeah, you say it out loud and it sounds good, and then the execution of it. But it's like next year, I think their team should be pretty good. Hayner, Tedford's back. Now, their home schedule probably isn't great. Obviously.
Boise. You want to go to the Boise game, John?
But wasn't the Boise game at home this year? They got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to go if you want to go.
San Jose State, maybe Utah State. Anyway, does Shanahan's stubbornness get in the way of winning a championship? Free agency, not spending. Ayuk in the doghouse. Jimmy drama. Seems to me like Kyle's kind of content with just making the playoffs. Huge year with how Lance pans out this season.
Yeah, I don't think he's content.
I don't think so either. Doghouse Grill, by the way. A buddy of mine was in San Luis Obispo not long ago and sent me a photo. And he goes, "Is this related to Doghouse?" It was a picture of him at Firestone because he's been to Fresno a lot. And I said, "Yes, that is related to Doghouse."
Why in relation, like that's the dad, Doghouse is the son, right?
Right.
I mean,
I've had
the Firestone was the way they got the name was that used to be Firestone Tires, and the guy,
was that guy on The Bachelor?
Yeah, his grandparents. Then he turned into Firestone Beer, up the street in Paso Robles or whatever. But Dave Billingsley, who owns them all. I mean, his nephew. Matty Billingsley runs the one in Fresno.
Right.
He does live in San Luis Obispo.
Gotcha.
Like that's his home base, and that's Firestone's his baby, and it is a cash cow.
I have not been to Doghouse in too long, but Matty, I'll say this: like he runs the show. He was you'd walk in there, he'd be back there sweating, making the meat. I mean, that place. And I've not. I don't know,
butter bread.
John, what did I have? I had last Sunday when I went to get some food before the Warrior game. Somebody told me about this place. I went and got like brisket sandwich. I mean, it's just. Everything's just a 2 compared to Doghouse tri-tip sandwich. And I have
brisket sandwich at Chase or outside of Chase?
No. Warrior game. I went to get food. It was like somewhere in, I don't even know where, in the east, somewhere in the East Bay.
Before
it's just a restaurant. Somebody told me, I was like, they got a brisket sandwich. Great. I have not found anything close to Doghouse tri-tip.
Do you see when anyone ever tries to do a semi-seriously like burger review or hotel review, is everyone just ripping off the pizza review of Dave? When they do like my Mexican food review, like I just stumble upon that, like people trying to do that. Let's review the
Dave
chicken nuggets.
Portnoy's done it at a level that, but I mean, people have been reviewing food for eternity.
I'm saying people our age range and younger on social media the last couple of years doing anything of that is, would you say, a direct ripoff of kind of seeing his success? It's not like their business. It's not like their business.
I would say it's very possible that most of them are heavily influenced by Portnoy, but I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that somebody would just have that idea.
Yeah. Reviews have been going on.
The thing with Portnoy to me that's next level is he's like, how is he he's eating pizza all the time. You got to go to these places. They might be an hour away, 3 hours away, 45 minutes away. I mean, the dedication and the consistency and the discipline is incredible.
I would say an underrated part of that is I think they're at the point now where I bet they have so many people reaching out, and he has a list of people that he has to hit right when he's in certain areas.
Yeah. Also, you can't give everybody a 9 point. You can't give everybody 8.9.
He doesn't. I would say the one thing about Dave,
he doesn't. I'm saying it's part of the reason it works.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh shit, that sucks for those people.
I think what's so special about that,
Portnoy just gave him a 6.5. They are screwed.
Do you agree that it probably wouldn't have worked with any other food group?
Yeah.
Just the way a pizza set up in a box.
It's just so this is the simplest. I do agree with that.
Yeah. You want to fire off a little ad read before the next question?
No, I was gonna do one more, and then we had the other thing we were gonna do. If you still want to do the other
yeah.
All right. Last one, because this isn't even a question. From 50 Cent Rocks. The best. Ham Pod's my go-to pod during the off-season and the regular season, and for good reason. Didn't mean to rhyme. But it did. Just feels like you're talking sports with your buddies. I'll forever be grateful for them talking me off the ledge during peak Mac Jones mania. Keep up the awesome work, and consider me a fan for life.
That was a hell of a time, man. That was a fun month of being in the biz, being in the weeds. That was just, it really mattered. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without the conversation, and it was a true conversation. Like, this shit isn't real, man, is it? It was the biggest story.
Everybody was talking about it. It was bigger than Debo, I would say.
I would say it was way bigger than Debo because you were drafting your franchise quarterback, right?
And everyone had an opinion on Mac Jones because he'd played at Alabama.
Everyone had seen him. And I think the connection of Kyle, people have been hearing about Kyle and Kirk Cousins forever. And They think he likes these overachievers.
Everyone was projecting on the and again, at the end, I still think he liked them. So I mean, I don't think everyone was wrong. That's the thing.
But clearly, everyone forced Kyle to kind of snap in that press conference, and
he snapped on purpose to try and throw everybody off.
Yeah,
for no real reason, you know.
I think we're going to need a Wickersham deep dive article in about a year on just how
I'd read a whole book
on just a month.
Yeah, just day by day.
I remember the moment that the day the trade happened, it was like they did what? I mean, it's borderline. I mean, there's a chance, guy, that never happens again. A team a month before the draft trades that much for the third pick in an NFL draft.
I know. When there's quarterbacks going 1 and 2, so you're getting the third, quote unquote, the third choice of quarterbacks, right?
It was 5 guys ended up going the top 15, so it was very unique.
Yeah,
I heard someone say
you knew who was going 1, and you thought you knew who was going 2, but you don't really know, right? That was the other part of it. Like, well, how many of these guys do you like? You like 2 of them?
I was in the car today, and I heard Coward say that he read somewhere. Because he was talking about Baker. He's like, where's he going to end up? He's like, well, if he doesn't figure it out this year, the next year, the over-under already on the quarterbacks in the first round is 5.5. And I started thinking, like, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, then am I missing quarterbacks? Like who? Caleb Williams isn't eligible.
The guy at Kentucky is supposed to be good.
Okay, so he must be
Scangarello is going to turn him into a top 10 pick.
Or ruin his career.
What's his name? I'll look real quick.
Caleb Williams, though, is not draft eligible, correct?
No, he's not draft eligible.
So
Tanner McKee at Stanford. I saw Will Levis is the Kentucky guy. Tanner McKee at Stanford. I know David Shaw says he thinks he could be a top 15 pick. Brugler had him in the top 25 in his 2023 mock draft.
Didn't you do their spring game?
Yeah, I mean he's 6'6", he's humongous. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Like,
solid dude.
Throwing seeds.
I mean, he played last year.
But I'm saying, like, you just did a scouting a couple weeks ago. What do you
big arm?
Did you think like I'm looking at a top 15 quarterback?
Well, he does look like that. Spring game was not the game that was going to make you know what I'm saying? Like I want to see him play a season because Davis Mills could have been that and just never got enough of it. Like I just want to watch this guy play 7 games. Like let's just watch 7 straight games of him. But he has all the physical tools.
And the thing with Stanford, they're always high character guys.
And they've got good receivers hurt right now. So if they can get their guys healthy.
What kind are they like sprint?
Yeah. Like bigger. They've got Bryson Tremaine, who's like a bigger guy. They've got Michael Wilson. They've got
so it's not
a true freshman tight end who's
you know what's not
Benjamin Urostic, who's a good pass catching tight end.
You know what's not inconceivable? That again, this kid, the Kentucky guy, like I don't think the order is set by any means. CJ Stroud, it's hard to watch him and not think like, this guy's probably going 1. I mean, I've watched enough of CJ Stroud where it's like you just come away every time you watch him. Now, I think the knock on him is like it does feel like their guys just get wide open and they're clearly here's what I already predict with CJ Stroud. It's going to be a little Mac Jones Tua. Like it's almost too easy. He's got too much talent. He's throwing it to fucking Marvin Harrison Jr., who might as well be Marvin Harrison Sr. This other guy who's better than the other 2 guys that were just drafted 10 and 11. You can already see where that's going. It's like, it's just too easy. Because when you watch him, you're like, God, CJ throws a beautiful ball. It just floats right in their hands.
Boston College has a guy 6'5". Hendon Hooker at Tennessee is a big guy, 6'4".
Like that name.
Coastal Carolina's guy, Grayson McCall. And let's not forget, John. Oh, Keaton Slovis at Pitt. Let's not forget.
Jake Haener.
Biggest heart of them all. Jake, mother bleeping Haener.
So you're already throwing names out. I'll be honest, I haven't heard of half of these guys. I'm kind of excited.
I am too.
If you get a 4-ish like lock quarterback draft in the first round, that we got a draft next year, right? And we got a great college football season because all of a sudden it's like this guy from Boston College might be going 10 Friday night, right? And you're just like, I'll peek at him.
Yep.
I'm in.
All right, John, thank you to everybody who submitted questions. Go to Apple Podcasts, submit more questions, and we appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. All right, before we go any further, though, let's tell the people about our friends at Indeed, where right now you got a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/ham. Offers good for a limited time. In the minute that we were just rattling off QB names, in that single minute, 16 hires were made on Indeed, including the Indeed data worldwide. You can
Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Think how easy, virtual interviews, Indeed.com/ham. What are we doing? This is how you find great talent. Listen to us. Listen to our friends at Indeed. Use our friends at Indeed. Start hiring some sweet people.
Now, what's Instant Match? John mentioned Instant Match. Instant Match is over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job.
Oh,
the moment they sponsor a job. It's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. So join over 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start now with the $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/ham. Offer good for a limited time. Claim. Tell them, John.
Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/ham. Indeed.com/ham. Terms and conditions apply. Pay per qualified applicant. Not available for all users. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
All right, we thought we'd go beyond the mailbag to questions we weren't asked, but questions we thought of. You have two. I have two. These are like mailbag, could be mailbag questions, whatever we want. And we don't know what the other has prepared.
Okay. You recently signed a long-term contract with your barber, who is returning from an injury, right? Sprained his ankle, tore his Achilles or something?
Knee contusion.
Knee contusion.
Pickup
on the pickup hoops, street courts of San Francisco.
Yep.
Here's my question. You obviously have hair that would grow nice and long. You also, while you don't, you could create a very strong beard. Would you rather not be able to cut your hair for a year, but you could shave? Or would you rather not be able to trim your beard, but get normal haircuts? If you had to choose one, gun to your head, which one are you choosing?
So either my hair grows out for a year,
12 months,
or my beard grows out for a year.
Yes. And you can manicure the other.
You can do whatever you want with it, but it's got to grow.
Yes.
That's really tough. Because on one hand, I hate facial hair. If I never grew another lick of facial hair, another single follicle popped out of my face, I'd be a happy man. I hate it. It's a pain in the ass. It's like it's wire thick. It fucks anything I wear that like touches my facial hair when it's more than a day long. It gets ruined. It gets like pulled.
Do you think a lot of people that thrive with beards have thin facial hair and it's easy?
I don't think so, because I see all these Charlie Blackman looking motherfuckers with brittle pads, whatever it's called, walking around on their face. And ultimately, I would choose to be able to shave my face and grow my hair because I don't want to. I'm not speaking of Rick Rubin. Like that's just I don't want. Now at the same time, it's like, what am I doing with this? It's not long. It's not straight and flat, so I wouldn't go. I don't know. I grew it out one time in high school. Well, it gets like curly. It gets not wavy, not curly, wavy. I grew it out-ish once, but not for a year in high school because I thought I played hockey and I thought it looked cool coming out of the back of my hockey helmet.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. I would choose the hair only because I hate facial hair. But did you have sometimes you ask questions, you have a take. So what would be the downside? Is there a downside to me choosing that one?
No, I think
good question.
I think go either way. I think the Rick Rubin look, which I don't know if it'd quite become that in a year, but it would get pretty outrageous.
Yeah. Other thing everyone's got, I wouldn't, because I can't Taylor Jenkins it, right? I can't like line it up.
Nope.
Like Draymond. You see Draymond wasn't able to get his barber to come line up his beard today or yesterday because he had to go see a plastic surgeon.
I was thinking like, probably not getting the podcast from Draymond after getting a huge black eye. Boom, flip on the internet. He's got a Louis Vuitton beanie on, and his eye is still pretty.
He knows good content when he sees it, and he's hot right now.
Yeah, you got to ride it.
Yeah. This is Draymond's.
Yeah, he ain't letting the fill-in come in on his YouTube channel.
This is Draymond's version of like Deebo Samuel unfollowed the 49ers.
Yeah, he's rolling.
Okay.
Do you think we get a Draymond take Saturday night?
Depends what happens in the game. If they win by like 15, if they lose, see, I kind of feel like we're more likely to get something if they lose and they're down 2-1.
If he's putting out a podcast Saturday night, I'm already impressed. I mean, I've talked to Coward about it. He's blown away. He's told him, like, what you're doing is remarkable. Like, I can't, we didn't expect this. And Draymond's just in the flow. If he does it Saturday night, I don't think we'll ever see an athlete be this dedicated to the craft.
Well, I think right now he's in this like great creative period. He just tried this thing. He didn't know if it was going to work, and it's taking off. It is taking off. And he's like you can't, he likes it right now. He really likes it, and it's working, and it's what everybody wants their podcast to be. It's working for him pretty quickly, right? So I think he's just feeling it right now.
I mean, Guy, I think he knew he had something, and he did the podcast with Curry, which, I mean, you and I don't think people quite understood the power of Steph relative to like Dame and Bradley Beal. His Steph Curry interview in 2 days had well over 1 million. I'm just going to the channel right now. I was looking at his take on after the game. He had 700,000 people watched his 13-minute. Right now, yeah, it's 740,000 people watched his, 14-minute post-game Memphis getting ejected.
Just on YouTube, not to mention how many times it got played somewhere else.
Everywhere. That's what everyone quoted, right? Was literally Draymond Green. I mean, he's gone to the point now where you're right, he's feeling it, where he just tells the media, like, I got nothing for you. I got to go podcast. And he's not, but at first it was like, it's kind of fun. Like, he's dead serious. Like,
why would I give you what I can keep for myself? Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. That was a good one. Kind of the same vein, actually. Here's my question for you. If you had to get a tattoo, what would you get and where would you get it?
I've thought about this before because I don't have my arms. I'm not a cutoff arm guy. I'm not our buddy Brian Hawkins. I don't have defined arms. And to me, to get an arm tattoo, I know a lot of people have it without looking. You don't need to be The Rock, but to me, you got to have like the bicep muscle kind of, or else it's a terrible look. Bottom line. I think the worst look is easily the Luka kind of bigger tattoo on the forearm. I would do something that I could cover up. It'd be funny to go on your butt, right? If it was small. Is there a size limit on the tattoo?
No. Whatever you want, wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be some family related thing, or, again, I'm not maybe a little American flag on the back, kind of like on the one of my shoulder blades, but like where shirt covers it up. But if I was wearing like a tank, and I'm not a tank top guy, where if it moves over, you're like, is it Middlekauff tatted up?
Yeah. Yeah. You see a little bit of it peeking.
It would be either funny on the butt.
What would
probably
you get?
Wouldn't do.
Okay. Yeah.
Initials on the butt would be kind of funny.
Your own initials.
Yeah. But my whole family is JM. My mom was Joe, my dad was Jeff, and my little brother's Jeff. So it's like you could just go JM. It represents the family creed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be something in that vein, family oriented, or somewhere the American flag on the shoulder blade back, relatively small. I remember our buddy Joe Bernardi, who's now coaching at Auburn, obviously Italian. He had a cool Italian flag. I think it was on his chest.
Oh wow!
But you don't think of Joe Bernardi as a tack guy because again, you don't see it unless.
Think of him a tough guy though.
Yeah,
the one that so you think forearm the one that a lot of guys are getting now is the above the knee tat. Have you noticed that?
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't do legs.
It's like the problem with to me the above the knee tat is like, however tan you are from like the kneecap down, you're less tan in all likelihood from the kneecap up, and so it's like, and the leg hair, and it's just. Not for I don't think it's
the one thing cool kind of about a back, but not too big of a tattoo is like if you're at, on like vacation at a pool, people are like, God, this guy, he's got a little something cooking there. Right. He got a little something to him.
Barbecue.
Yeah. He's just kind of ready for, I mean, I know what you'd have to go with, which would be the punter at Fresno State, Ben Shapiro. Is that his name? Ben Shapiro? Who's the punter at Fresno State?
I think you are. It's not Ben. It's I want to say Adam, but
I'm screwing up his name. We used to be good buddies.
I used to DMing with him.
Yeah.
I used to call him Shapiro.
Andrew Shapiro.
Yeah.
Andrew Shapiro.
Sorry, Andrew.
He, just a fantastic Jewish punter who I once gave advice not to try to pursue the NFL. And then he got a training camp invite and it was an incredible experience. And he's like, thanks for giving me terrible advice. I'm like, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be mean. But he had obviously Jewish guy, had a great Star of David, I think, on kind of Bernardi on the chest. Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
I do think Star of David is just a classic.
Star of David, yeah, that's not a bad one. You can never deny it then, though, if they come for you.
No.
Like, huh? No, Cowboys fan. All right, what's your next one?
This one,
one more each.
Yeah, it's just this kind of mean / I guess mean spirit is probably wrong, but it's, people are going to know I'm taking a shot here. How much would I have to pay you?
I already know what this is.
To attend every single A's game, every single A's home game for a season, and sit at the top of the stadium. Obviously, there's no one there. You'd be all by yourself. You have to go alone.
Yeah.
But this season is no prorated. You have to start. We have to start next year. All 81 home games. You cannot miss one game. And just obviously you can sit wherever the fuck you want at that stadium. You have to go because they close Mount Davis. You probably have to go home plate and go all the way to the top and sit there alone, kind of like, was it Jordan Love's family that the Chiefs put all the way up?
His wife, or his girlfriend and his mom, yeah. Or her mom.
You have to do that. At least in fairness to that, packed house, you're around other people. You are alone at the top. A lot of night games, probably a little chilly.
It is. I've been there at night. Now, here's the thing, right? Like, I got paid very little money to go there every day, but it was professional development. Like, you have to pay me more to go when I'm not working, right?
Obviously, you can't monetize this. Alyssa's not going to want to go.
Could we? Let's say they play the draft Thursday night. A's play. Can I podcast from up there?
No, you're just stuck there watching.
So you are stunting my professional. You're stunting my career, is what you're doing. Like, to me, if you said, yeah, you can go up there, but you can take a little MiFi. We could do the podcast. You could watch the draft. You could stream it. Then my number's not as big as you would think to do that. Like, my number might be like $500,000 or $700,000. Is that too big?
No, I mean,
why are you laughing?
A lot of time. Well, no, it's just funny. I thought you were going to say $500 a game or something.
Well, like, to me, you're talking about, if we're really having this serious conversation, you're talking about I can't travel. I can't, I might have a game that somebody at Fox says, can you do this game on Saturday? I got to say no. You're talking about multiple podcast problems. You're talking about Sunday podcasts, which are big. Niners play the Cowboys in the NFC Championship. Niners play the Niners, like all these types of games.
Season's over by January, at least, though.
That's true. Early season games. That's true. But
yeah, it's throwing your financial off. You're stuck up there. You obviously it's time consuming. You can't monetize what you're seeing. So it's just a lot of time away.
Ultimately,
from your life.
I could potentially flip it into, this guy just got paid $2 million. This guy's making more than most of the players just to sit in the upper deck, right? If I was making like $2 million,
we have to find you a sponsor to pay you.
So when we continue the podcast, we'd have to find ways around. It'd be selfish. Also, right.
If you got a large 6-figure investment, we might be able to spread it around and get a fill-in host and all make money off it.
Yeah, I think it would need to be it'd need to be in the 7 figures. What do you think that's too low?
No, I don't.
What would be your no? I don't even.
I would just keep hanging up.
Yeah.
The time
you would hang
time
up.
constraint.
$2 million you would hang up.
Well, that would start being a number where you'd listen, but you eventually, again, unless it's like $2 million ultimately is not completely changing my life. It would clearly help me out, I guess, to put a down payment on a big house or something, but it doesn't change my life for the next 20 years. But that experience, by about the 3rd homestand, you're like, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't want to be here. So you become numb to the money.
The mental aspect of that, it would, to me, it'd be the other stuff specifically professionally that is preventing me from doing, because it's 82 times.
Yeah.
Or 81 times.
A lot.
Like $300,000 would be $3,500 a game. Which
after a while, that would feel low.
I don't want to be,
some elitist.
Jalen Rose on ESPN talking about how Orlovsky flies commercial, but also, there is a cost, an opportunity cost, an opportunity lost cost, or an opportunity cost lost, or whatever, however you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, what if your fill-in turned out to be better than you, and then you lost?
As long as it's called Haberman Middlekauff, and I get 50% of it.
But what if we pivoted to Smith and Middlekauff?
Shit!
That's where you'd have to have so much money.
Middlekauff and Luke, $5 million. Middlekauff and Gehrig. Son of a bitch! All right, my last one for you. We actually talked about this at dinner on Thursday night, but it was so good, I came up with my own one. 3 words you can tell your 13-year-old self. What do you say?
The one we heard that I did like was Tesla Bitcoin buy. I think it would be something like that, but the more you think about it, that might not mean that much to a 13. I think it was 16-year-old, whatever. I mean,
whatever.
30-year-old, you'd be like, what? Especially when you're telling them about something that hasn't existed. It might be 13-year-old, meet Mark Zuckerberg, something like that.
Good one.
Like, honestly, meet Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And then it would be on
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That might be what it was. Find Elon Musk.
What if you found the wrong Mark Zuckerberg too?
That's where you'd. You would pick Elon Musk then, because there's only one Elon Musk. You find Elon Musk.
Now, a rabbi in San Antonio named Mark Zuckerberg.
Find Elon Musk. You say that at 14. I don't know. Like, you can only lead a horse to water. Like, there's a decent chance I wouldn't have any clue what to do.
But what if you told Elon, somebody time traveled, they told me to find you, and then it's up to him to, like, wow, the universe is, I'm supposed to bring this person along with me. What
would you say is the biggest upset in the history of our sports watching life? Because you could go like, bet house.
But what's your, how much do you have?
Yeah, you don't have capital. It would be meet Elon Musk. Find Elon Musk would be mine.
You'd have to do, it wouldn't be a game. You'd have to bet on a team, like a preseason team, like a long shot to win the championship.
Short Enron now.
Well, that's so, like, what I wrote down, and then I realized it wouldn't work because I was older than this when this company got invented. What I wrote was quit school, YouTube. Quit school, YouTube. But YouTube wasn't founded until we were in college. So, but that's what I would tell myself in 2005, quit school, YouTube.
That's not terrible. I think it would have to be
YouTube
something.
Has to be one word for that to work, which it is.
It would have to be something in that vein, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that for sure.
So neither one of us would pick something like,
no,
preventing some disaster.
That's selfish. You're right.
Now that I think about it, I don't even want to say the one I just thought of. It's too dark.
Yeah. But it'd be hard to be like, is a date
like,
one word? Like 9/11 government call?
That's the one I thought of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Warren, Twin Towers, Warren. Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
You could argue if you had a deep thought about it and just like spend some time by yourself, the karma of doing something great would be paid back over like having some 15-year-old John Middlekauff link up with Elon Musk in Canada in 1996.
Like, we're on YouTube right now and it's going well, right? Like, living with, would you know that you had chosen to tell yourself to get on YouTube early instead of stopping a terrorist attack? So,
yeah, I mean, what's one of the biggest, would 9/11 be? You'd have to really think in like our lifetime, it'd be up there domestically.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is there's too many things you could choose from, but
yeah, you just have to pick. I think that would be the move. You're right. You'd have to swallow your pride and be like, I could have been Elon Musk's right-hand man, his partner, and been.
What if you tried to combine the two? Is there a way you could do two things? 3 words is all you get.
What if it's this 9? Yeah. Well, you see, that's the problem. September 11th is
hard.
Yeah, it really is.
Because you need to be specific enough that the government takes your warning seriously.
Yeah, and they probably would.
Because they get so many bullshit, tips.
You would have to find a way to do something great and save lives and hope the karma of life would pay you back.
Yeah, or just the karma, just simply the satisfaction of knowing you do something good might be, you don't need to get anything back. That might be enough.
Honestly, I think the coolest thing we've done as a podcast is the No Kid Hungry raising $25,000 in the fall. I mean, honestly, that was just makes you feel better about like some sweet take on Debo.
I mean, we did have a Schefter video viral. I mean, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty sweet, yeah. But,
that was a joke.
The Elon Musk thing, it'd be hard to pass up.
Sorry. Yeah. What if you like invent self-autonomy? Like, fuck, I'm not smart enough for that. Invent autonomous vehicle. Shit.
Steve Jobs iPod. Do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to get a hold of these guys.
I like our own mailbag questions to each other.
Probably easier to get a hold of people. A lot of kids listening will never know what do you remember what the yellow pages were?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Remember how big that thing was?
Massive.
God, it was huge. But
remember how it smelled? That's the part you can't recreate, is how it smelled when you opened it.
John, find the number for Bill Williamson. We need to get a hold of him.
I watched an old interview Howard Stern did. I was telling you this the other night, or I think I was telling you this last night, or did I tell you on the podcast with Conan? It was old. Yeah. And they were arguing about, not arguing, he was grilling Conan. Did you and Lisa Kudrow have sex? And Howard goes, well, let's call her up. And then what's his name? His guy, his producer, what's the guy's name?
Chubbier guy?
Yeah, Baba Booey or whatever.
Howard's? Yeah.
He's like, Howard, we don't have her home number. It's like, oh, we don't have her home number. Never mind, because we can't call her. That was it.
I'd say Howard was a little crazier back in the day than his takes now. He's a little safer. You get so rich.
I think he was less takes related and more truly shock jock. And his interviews have always been incredible. It was more about like, let's get 6 prostitutes in here, and you know,
he was going nuts.
All right. On that note, great Mother's Day conversation. Yeah. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Adios.
See ya.